This whole time, the most important thing to Meghan Markle has been those titles, and they got upset because the Queen refused to make a special patent for their invisible children, as she has done for William and Catherine's children. Now, they are direct heirs, though. Harry's children simply are not. But anyway, they've tried everything in their power to force the Queen to do it. Apparently, they went so far as to threaten her with them leaving the royal family. Well, alright, bye-bye, suckers. After all the shenanigans that Meghan had pulled, even before they got married, I'm talking about the bullying of staff and foreign dignitaries, I suspect also, though, the bullying of that little Princess Charlotte was the final straw. The Queen called their bluff, and she put them on their freedom flight, and she wished them nothing but the best. They learned pretty quickly that you should not threaten the Queen ever. And that's why they have done nothing but try to trash the family ever since they left. If leaving had actually been their idea, I don't think we would have heard so much from them. It was not their plan. Their inflated self-worth was pretty quickly torn apart, and they never saw it coming. Exactly how could the royal family make it without that ginger idiot and his horrible wife? Well, that's why Meghan and Harry started with their vicious attacks, and then there was their last-ditch effort to pay them back by pulling the race card and making up that horrible lie that some mysterious member of the royal family questioned the color of their unborn child's skin. I mean, come on. The child coming from a white woman and a ginger prick. They knew that was going to upset the palace, and that's exactly why they said it. They thought they were really going to get the royal family with that nonsense, but the only thing they really accomplished was hurting themselves and showing what horrible manipulative liars they really are. All they needed to do was wait until Charles became king, but no, they couldn't do that. They were too impatient. But the only thing they really did was prove to the whole world that they are not the stars of the royal family and they're not the favorites that they imagine themselves to be. So Meghan made it her mission in life to get those titles formally recognized for the two invisible children. Now, if they're even real, they are so young, and all the other members of the royal family choose not to burden their children with formal titles. Instead, many of them allow those children to decide for themselves when they turn 18 if they want to acknowledge the titles. A great example would be Lady Louise Windsor and her brother, the new Earl of Wessex. I mean, they just live a quiet, unassuming life. They also were the grandchildren of the monarch, the late queen, but I'm guessing divorce is going to be imminent within the next year or so for the desultory duo. Meghan, though, is going to keep a hold on those titles as long as she can for those children, because she believes she can use them to make money. Now, sadly, even if they do get divorced, Meghan would get to retain the title of Duchess, but there's no chance that she could ever become HRH, the Duchess of Sussex, again. She will always just be Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So at least we've got that. Even Diana actually lost HRH status when she and King Charles got divorced, and of course, Meghan and Harry lost it when they stopped being working royals. And when it comes to security, well, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie both live in the UK, and they don't have 24-hour security anymore. It is provided to them whenever they're at royal functions. So why in the world do Harry and Meghan believe they and their little family are entitled to taxpayer-funded security? They're simply not. Andrew's daughters actually are princesses, and they don't get security unless they are doing something officially royal for the monarch. And this probably actually hasn't happened in years, other than appearances like the Trooping the Color. Any security they have now, they have to pay for. Although I did read that Prince Andrew paid for their security after they turned 18, but I don't know if it's true or not. They lost their security back in 2011, so they were already over the age of 18. And Andrew tried to object, but it didn't work. Interestingly enough, when they lost it, they were living in the UK, and they were 5th and 6th in line to the throne. Now, Harry is 5th, but he's living overseas, so is he going to get security? Oh, I don't think so. Precedence has already been set. So Harry and Meghan do need to pay for their security. Let's remember, those invisible kids do not have HRH styling either with their prince and princess titles. So the prince and princess doesn't really mean a thing, and Harry and Meghan also had their HRH titles removed, so Duke and Duchess doesn't really mean much without the HRH. You know what? I could go and baptize my little granddaughter and say, all right, this is Princess Olivia. But Meghan tried to claim in the Oprah interview that security was the real reason why Meghan wanted titles for those invisible children. And now Meghan has changed her story, as always, and she says it is their birthright. I mean, her hypocrisy is just off the charts. Meghan has no interest in their birthright, come on. She took Harry away from his own family, so how does it make sense that she cares about the birthright of her children? She doesn't. I think that little curtsy that she did on their Netflix docuseries told us everything we need to know. They don't have HRH before their name, so they're not real royalty. I think Meghan just moved too quickly. She still does not understand how things work, but she's all excited. She knows just usual attempts to treat us all like we're a bunch of idiots, just like all their statements that they made were easily found out to be lies. It seems like they don't care though, as long as they get attention. Another issue with their little plan is that security comes from the government, it doesn't even come from the king. Only as working royals would they have the right to security that would be paid for by the taxpayers. They don't have any right to security unless the security services consider them to be under serious threat. And after all, the family lives in the US, so it is the US government's responsibility to decide if they want the US taxpayers to foot the bill for their security. And Meghan's statement that the title brings with it the right to security has always been a total lie. It simply doesn't. It's not true. Other than the monarch and their spouse, there is no member of the royal family who is entitled to full-time protection automatically, and working royals only receive it when they're carrying out official royal duties. So why should the invisible children of a non-working royal living in a different country get preferential treatment from any other non-working royal? If the king were to allow such a thing, then every other non-working child, grandchild, or even great-grandchild of the late queen or king would deserve exactly the same. It makes a lot more sense to make sure that those working royals are protected and everybody else can pay for the security that is available. If Harry wants security, then all right, he can pay for it. I mean, but he's not going to be able to get the Royal Protection Police, which apparently is what he wants. Meghan just came up with this lie as an excuse for her wanting titles for those children that probably aren't even real. She wanted to try to make everybody believe that she's just a good mother worried about their safety. Oh, whatever, Meghan. We know you just want those titles for clout. The best thing for the two of them to do right now is just to remain in the US and enjoy their invisible children, who they are also using to get a lot more money with their prince and princess titles, by the way. The kids did become entitled to use those titles after Charles became king, but not before. But it really just goes to show how Harry and Meghan have no integrity. I mean, the way they attack the monarchy to the entire world, and now they're going to turn around and insist on having titles for their children, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And you, what do you think about their invisible children's titles? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section. And don't be afraid to subscribe